I learned to be invisible early. In the Morrison family, visibility meant becoming a target. My older brother Derek was the aggressor. Loud, controlling, always positioning himself as the authority. My younger sister Vanessa was the manipulator. Sweet to your face, vicious behind your back. My parents enabled both of them, rewarding their worst behaviors with attention and praise. I was the quiet middle child who kept her head down and got out as soon as possible. I left for college at 17. Stanford, full scholarship computer science major. I didn't come home for Thanksgiving my freshman year. Or sophomore year. Or ever really, unless it was absolutely mandatory. After graduation I moved to San Francisco. Got a job at a tech startup. Worked insane hours. Learned everything I could about corporate governance, strategic operations, and how companies actually functioned at the highest levels. By 25 I was VP of operations at a mid-sized tech company. By 28 I was consulting for Fortune 500 companies on digital transformation and operational efficiency. By 31 I had board seats at 3 major corporations. One in healthcare technology, one in financial services, one in renewable energy. My family had no idea. To them I was still Sarah, the quiet sister who worked in tech and lived in San Francisco and never talked about specifics. They never asked detailed questions. I never volunteered information. It was safer that way. The problems started in October 2023. I'd been low contact with my family for years. Christmas, maybe Thanksgiving, the occasional phone call when mom guilt-tripped me enough. But I deliberately kept them away from my professional life. Then Vanessa got engaged. Vanessa family group chat, big news. Justin proposed. Wedding June 2024. Everyone must be there. Oh sweetie. So excited. Where's the wedding? Vanessa, the Grandview estate. You know, where the Hendersons had their daughter's wedding. $150,000 venue. Derek, how are you affording that? Vanessa, Justin's bonus was huge this year. Plus mom and dad are helping. Dad, we're contributing $40,000. Pause. Then, Derek, what about Sarah? Is she contributing? I stared at my phone. I hadn't even responded to the engagement announcement yet. Sarah should definitely help. It's family. Vanessa, I mean she works in tech. She must make decent money. Derek, Sarah, what's your contribution? $10,000? $15,000. I took a breath and typed, congratulations Vanessa. I'm happy for you. Derek, that's not an answer. Are you contributing or not? Me, I'll send a gift. Vanessa, a gift? Sir, this is my wedding. Family contributes. Derek's giving us $8,000. Derek, and I have 3 kids and a mortgage. You're single with no dependents. You should contribute more. Sarah, don't be selfish. I closed the group chat without responding. Over the next 6 weeks it got worse. Derek, Sarah, we're still waiting on your contribution amount. Vanessa, I'm making seating charts. Need to know if you're bringing a +1. Also, contribution amount. Sarah, answer your sister. Dad, this is ridiculous. Just wire the money. Finally, in early December. Me, I'm not contributing money to the wedding. I'll attend and bring a gift. That's my choice. The group chat exploded. Derek, are you serious right now? Vanessa, you're seriously going to be cheap about my wedding? Sarah Morrison, you will help your sister. Dad, what's wrong with you? Derek, you know what? I don't think she even has money. I think she's been lying about her job for years. Vanessa, you're right. He never talks about work. Never posts about it. I bet she's like, a secretary or something. Sarah, what exactly is your job title? I didn't respond. Derek, see? She won't answer because she's been lying. Vanessa, I asked Justin's friend who works in tech in SF. He's never heard of Sarah Morrison. Not at any major company. Derek, because she's nobody. Probably makes $50,000 answering phones. Dad, Sarah, you owe this family honesty. I muted the group chat. Mom insisted on Christmas at their house in Portland. The whole family. We need to discuss Vanessa's wedding properly. I almost didn't go. My assistant had already booked me a flight to Zurich for a board meeting on December 27th. But Mom called 17 times in one day and finally I answered. If you don't come to Christmas, you're not invited to the wedding, she said. That's fine, Mom. Sarah, how can you be so cruel? I sighed. I'll come, but I'm leaving on the 26th. Fine. Just be here. I flew to Portland on Christmas Eve. Rented a modest car. Wore jeans and a sweater. Brought my laptop because I had work to finish. The house was decorated like a magazine spread. Derek and his wife Christina were already there with their 3 kids. Vanessa and Justin arrived in a new Audi, engagement present from Justin's parents. My Aunt Laura, Uncle Bob and 3 cousins filled out the crowd. Dinner was tense. Nobody spoke to me directly. They talked around me about me but not to me. Sarah's been so secretive about her job, Vanessa told Aunt Laura loudly. Some people are private, Aunt Laura said diplomatically. Or some people are liars, Derek muttered. After dessert, Derek stood up. He had that look, the same expression he'd had when we were kids and he was about to do something cruel. We need to talk about Sarah, he announced. Everyone turned. 4 years, Sarah has let this family believe she has some impressive tech job in San Francisco. She's been vague, evasive, refusing to contribute to family events while supposedly making good money. Dad nodded. It's true. We've enabled this too long. So here's what's happening, Derek continued. Sarah, you're going to provide proof of your employment. Pay stubs, tax returns, LinkedIn profile. Something concrete. Why? I asked calmly. Because we're tired of the lies, Vanessa snapped. You won't help with my wedding. You never help with anything. And we think it's because you can't, not because you won't. Show proof or we hire an investigator, Derek said. No more excuses. The room went silent. Everyone stared at me. We've already researched investigators, Christina added. There's a firm in Seattle. Former FBI agents. They'll verify everything, employment, finances, everything. We'll split the cost, Derek said. Everyone contributes. And then we'll know the truth. Mom leaned forward. Sarah, just show us a pay stub. Prove you have a real job. That's all we're asking. I looked around the room. 15 family members. All of them nodding. All of them agreeing that I was the problem. I set down my wine glass. Noted, I said calmly. That's IT. Derek exploded. That's all you have to say? You've made your decision. You're going to hire an investigator. I can't stop you. You could just show us. You've already decided I'm lying, I said. So show and tell won't satisfy you. Hire your investigator. Do what you need to do. Vanessa laughed. Oh, this is going to be good. When everyone finds out you're a secretary. Or unemployed, Derek added. You're going to be so humiliated, Vanessa finished. I stood up. I have work to finish. Merry Christmas. I walked out before anyone could respond. Back in my hotel room I made 2 phone calls. First, my attorney James Chin. James had represented me for 8 years, handled all my corporate contracts and was one of the most respected attorneys in Silicon Valley. Sarah. Merry Christmas. My family is hiring a private investigator to verify my employment and finances. Silence. Then, what? I explained the situation. The accusations. The demands for proof. Derek's announcement about hiring investigators. They think you're lying about having a job? Apparently. James started laughing. Sarah, you're on the board of 3 Fortune 500 companies. Your compensation last year was $2.4 million. This is insane. It's my family. What do you want me to do? Nothing yet. Let them hire the investigator. Let the process play out. But I want you on standby. Absolutely. This is going to be remarkable. Second call. My executive assistant Maria Rodriguez. Maria had been with me for 5 years. She knew everything about my professional life and had impeccable discretion. Maria, I need you to prepare a comprehensive file. Every board position. Every company. Compensation documentation. All of it. For what? My family hired a PI to investigate me. When he contacts you and I want you to cooperate fully. Provide everything he requests. Sarah, are you sure? Completely sure. This feels like it's going to backfire on them spectacularly. That's their problem, not mine. Over the next 3 weeks the family group chat was busy. Derek, we've hired Sentinel Investigations. Former FBI. $8,500 for a complete background check. Vanessa, everyone needs to contribute. Aunt Laura, Uncle Bob, you're in? Aunt Laura, I really don't think this is necessary. Derek, you're either with the family or you're not. Dad, I'm contributing $1,000. Me too. Vanessa, Sarah, you're being investigated. Just so you know. I didn't respond. 3 days later my phone rang. Unknown number. Ms. Morrison? This is Robert Hayes from Sentinel Investigations. Your family has retained our services to conduct a background check on your employment and financial status. I'm aware. I'll need to verify your employment history. May I contact your current employer? I'm self-employed as a consultant and serve on multiple corporate boards. My assistant Maria Rodriguez can provide all necessary documentation. I'll have her email you her contact information. Thank you for your cooperation. Mr. Hayes. Yes. I assume you'll be conducting a thorough investigation? Always, ma'am. Then you should know. When my family hired you, they provided context about why they're investigating me. Allegations, suspicions, claims about my character. Yes, they did. I recommend you verify those claims as well. Thoroughly. Pause. Noted, Ms. Morrison. Maria called me 4 days later. Sarah, the investigator, contacted me. I provided everything. Board positions, compensation records, professional references, everything. How did he react? He was very quiet. Then he asked if he could verify the information directly with the companies. I gave him contact information for all 3 board chairs. Good. Sarah, there's something else. He asked about your family. Specifically, he asked if you'd ever filed complaints or legal action against family members. My stomach tightened. What did you tell him? The truth. The restraining order against Derek from 2019. The cease and desist letters to Vanessa in 2020 and 2021. I'd almost forgotten about those. Derek had shown up at my San Francisco apartment drunk, demanding money. I'd filed a restraining order. Vanessa had created fake social media accounts claiming I'd stolen money from the family, completely fabricated. My attorney had sent cease and desist letters. He asked for documentation, Maria continued. I told him to contact James Chin. Perfect. What's happening, Sarah? My family hired an investigator to prove I'm a fraud. Instead, he's discovering exactly who I am and what they've done. Derek scheduled the revelation meeting for January 20, 2024. Back at my parents' house in Portland. Derek, group chat, mandatory family meeting. 2 p.m. The investigator will present his findings. Everyone must attend. Vanessa, can't wait to hear this. Sarah, you need to be there. I didn't respond to the group chat. Instead, I called James Chin. The investigator is presenting findings on January 20th. I want you there. Absolutely. I'm bringing an associate. This is going to require documentation. What kind of documentation? Sarah, based on what you've told me about your family's behavior, the group chat messages, the public accusations, the coordinated pressure campaign, we're potentially looking at defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and violation of the restraining order. I want everything recorded properly. You think it's that serious? I think your family has been conducting a coordinated campaign to damage your reputation. If the investigator found what I think he found, your family is in significant legal trouble. On January 20th, I flew to Portland. James Chin and his associate Jennifer Liu flew with me. We arrived at my parents' house at 1:45 p.m. Mom answered the door. She saw James and Jennifer and her face went pale. Who are they? James Chin, Sarah's attorney. Jennifer Liu, associate counsel. We're here to observe the proceedings. Attorneys? Sarah, this is a family meeting. A family meeting where a private investigator presents findings about me, I said calmly. My attorneys will observe. Derek appeared. This isn't a legal proceeding. Then our presence shouldn't be a problem, James said smoothly. The living room was packed. Mom, Dad, Derek, Christina, Vanessa, Justin, Aunt Laura, Uncle Bob for cousins. Everyone stared at James and Jennifer like they were invaders. At exactly 2 p.m. the doorbell rang. Derek answered it. He returned with a man in his mid-50s, gray hair, sharp eyes, the bearing of someone who'd spent decades in law enforcement. He carried a thick leather briefcase. Everyone, this is Robert Hayes. 26 years with the FBI. He's conducted a comprehensive investigation into Sarah's employment claims and financial status. Robert Hayes nodded to the room. His eyes immediately found James' chin. Something passed between them, professional recognition. Before I begin, Robert said, his voice measured, I need to clarify the scope of this investigation. The Morrison family retained my services to verify Ms. Sarah Morrison's employment and financial claims. Specifically, you alleged she was lying about working in tech, potentially unemployed or underemployed, and refusing to contribute to family events despite having resources. Derek nodded. That's right. You also provided context about Ms. Morrison's behavior over the past 15 years. Claims about her being secretive, evasive, and potentially deceptive. Yes, Vanessa said. We gave you everything. Robert set his briefcase on the coffee table. He didn't sit. Instead, he stood in front of the room like he was delivering a federal briefing. I conducted this investigation according to standard protocols, Robert continued. Employment verification, financial records review, professional reference checks, corporate governance documentation. And because your claims involved allegations of deception and character issues, I also investigated the context of your family relationships. He pulled out 6 folders. 6. Let me start with Subject A, Ms. Sarah Morrison. He opened the first folder. Full legal name, Sarah Elizabeth Morrison. Date of birth, April 3, 1989. Current residence, San Francisco, California. Employment status, independent consultant and corporate board member. Derek smirked. Board member. Sure. Robert ignored him. Ms. Morrison currently serves on the board of directors for 3 Fortune 500 companies. First, Health Tech Innovations, a healthcare technology company with annual revenue of $3.2 billion. She's served on their board since 2021. Annual compensation, $425,000 plus equity. The room went silent. Second, Pinnacle Financial Services, a financial services company with annual revenue of $7.8 billion. Board member since 2020. Annual compensation, $380,000 plus equity. Mom made a choking sound. Third, Green Future Energy, a renewable energy company with annual revenue of $4.1 billion. Board member since 2022. Annual compensation, $490,000 plus equity. Robert flipped pages. Total verified compensation from board positions in 2023, $2.4 million. Investment portfolio verified at $8.7 million. Real estate holdings. 1 property in San Francisco, current value $3.2 million fully paid. Ms. Morrison's net worth is approximately $12.1 million. Dad's face had gone gray. Professional references verified, Robert continued. Board chairs from all 3 companies confirm Ms. Morrison's exceptional performance. She's been nominated for Corporate Board Member of the Year by Directors Journal. Forbes contacted her for their 40 under 40 list. She declined the interview. He closed the folder. Employment verification, confirmed. Financial status, confirmed. All claims verified. Ms. Morrison is exactly who she says she is. Derek stood up, his face red. That's impossible. I have documentation from all 3 companies, Robert said sharply. Board meeting minutes. Compensation records. Professional evaluations. This is verified fact. But she never told us. That's not my concern. You asked me to verify her employment. I verified it. Now. Robert's voice went cold. Let's discuss subjects B through F. He opened the remaining 5 folders. During my investigation, I discovered something interesting. When I contacted Ms. Morrison's assistant to verify employment, she mentioned previous legal issues involving family members. I investigated those issues. Vanessa's face went pale. What legal issues? In October 2019, Mr. Derek Morrison appeared at Ms. Morrison's residence in San Francisco while intoxicated. He demanded money, became aggressive, and refused to leave. Ms. Morrison filed a restraining order. The order was granted. Mr. Morrison violated that order twice. Once in November 2019, once in March 2020. Derek jumped up. That's bullshit. I have court records, Robert said flatly. Would you like me to display them? James' chin stood up. Please do. Robert pulled out documents. Even from across the room I could see official court seals. In April 2020, Ms. Vanessa Morrison created multiple fake social media accounts, Robert continued. These accounts claimed Ms. Sarah Morrison had stolen money from the family, committed fraud, and was living off family resources. All claims were completely fabricated. I never, Vanessa started. I have screenshots. IP addresses. Device identification. Ms. Vanessa Morrison, you created these accounts from your home computer and your phone. Ms. Morrison's attorney sent 2 cease and desist letters. You ignored both. Robert pulled out more documents. The social media posts were seen by approximately 3,400 people, including professional contacts of Ms. Morrison. Several business associates contacted her to verify the claims. This constitutes defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. He turned to my parents. Mr. and Mrs. Morrison, you were informed of both situations, the restraining order violation and the social media defamation. You took no action. In fact, according to family group chat records provided during my investigation, you actively pressured Ms. Morrison to forgive these behaviors and be part of the family. Mom was crying. Dad sat frozen. But here's what makes this a conspiracy, Robert said, and his voice carried the weight of 26 years of federal investigations. The family group chat from October through December 2023. He pulled out a thick stack of printed messages. Over a 10-week period, multiple family members, Mr. Derek Morrison, Ms. Vanessa Morrison, Mr. Robert Morrison, Mrs. Linda Morrison, and Mrs. Christina Morrison, engaged in a coordinated campaign of harassment and defamation against Ms. Sarah Morrison. He read from the printouts. She's been lying about her job for years. She's probably a secretary. She's nobody. She's cheap. She's cruel. She owes this family. These messages were sent in a group chat with 17 members, including extended family and Ms. Morrison herself. That was just family talk, Christina started. It's documented defamation in a semi-public forum, Robert interrupted. You made false statements about Ms. Morrison's employment, character, and finances. Those statements were seen by multiple parties. That's textbook defamation. James' chin stepped forward. Mr. Hayes, did you calculate damages? I did. Quantified reputation damage, professional impact assessment, and emotional distress evaluation. Conservative estimate, $195,000 in damages across all parties involved. The room exploded. $195,000? Derek shouted. That's insane. Actually, it's quite modest, James said. In Silicon Valley, where Ms. Morrison works, reputation is currency. Your false statements about her employment and finances could have damaged her board positions. That's measurable harm. Vanessa started crying. We didn't mean. You hired an investigator to publicly humiliate her, James continued. You coordinated pressure campaigns. You violated a restraining order. You created fake social media accounts. And you did all of this deliberately over an extended period. Jennifer Liu opened her briefcase. We've prepared documentation for civil action, defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, restraining order violations, and conspiracy to damage professional reputation. She handed papers to Derek, Vanessa, and my parents. You're each being notified of potential legal action. You have 30 days to respond. Derek's hands were shaking. Sarah, you can't be serious. You spent $8,500 to hire someone to prove I was lying, I said quietly. You coordinated a family campaign to humiliate me. You demanded I prove myself to you. I stood up. The investigator proved I was telling the truth. And in the process he discovered what you all did to me over the past 5 years. Restraining order violations, fake social media attacks, public defamation. All documented. We're family, Mom sobbed. You treated me like a criminal for not giving Vanessa money for her wedding, I said. You called me a liar, a secretary, a nobody. You never asked about my life. You just assumed I was failing. I picked up my bag. James and Jennifer stood with me. The investigator you hired discovered the truth. All of it. Not just about me, about all of you. Sarah, please, Dad started. You have 30 days to respond to the legal notice, James said. I recommend you retain counsel immediately. We walked out. Behind us I heard Vanessa. What do we do? What do we do? And Derek, his voice breaking. Get a lawyer. We need a fucking lawyer. The civil case was settled out of court in April 2024. Derek paid $47,000 in damages and legal fees. Vanessa paid $38,000. My parents paid $52,000 for their role in enabling and participating in the harassment. Christina paid $23,000. Uncle Bob and Aunt Laura, who'd participated in the group chat but hadn't initiated attacks, paid $12,000 each. Total, $184,000 plus my legal fees. The restraining order against Derek was made permanent. Vanessa signed a legally binding agreement to never create content about me on social media or in any public forum. The entire family was required to sign non-disparagement agreements. If they publicly discuss me or my career, they face additional financial penalties. I donated every dollar of the settlement to organizations supporting women in tech. Vanessa's wedding happened in June 2024. I wasn't invited. I heard it was lovely. Derek lost his job in March. His employer discovered the restraining order during a routine background check for a promotion. He's working in sales now, making about $60,000 a year. My parents tried to call me in May. I didn't answer. Maria asked me if I regretted letting the investigation happen. You could have just shown them proof early. Avoided all of this. No, I said. They needed to learn what happens when you accuse someone of lying without evidence. When you coordinate to damage someone's reputation. When you treat family like enemies. Do you think they learned? I think they learned that investigations go both ways. And that the truth isn't always what you expect. In August 2024, I was named to Forbes' 40 Under 40 list. The article mentioned my 3 board positions and my work in corporate governance. It was picked up by tech publications and business journals. I got exactly 1 text from my family about it. From Rachel, my youngest cousin who'd stayed neutral during the investigation, saw the Forbes article. Congratulations. You deserved better from them. I replied, thank you. That was enough. I built my career carefully, deliberately, and privately. My family decided that privacy meant deception. They hired someone to expose my lies. Instead, the investigator exposed theirs. And that $8,500 investigation cost them $195,000 in damages, their reputations, and any relationship with me. They demanded proof. They got it.